Linda, with your experience and connections and network, I should say, why haven't you considered starting a startup?
It's the laugh for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't I look exhausted?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ideas on Fire podcast, where your ideas get lit.
Lit up.
And today we are both fortunate and honored to have in the house a powerhouse in the tech world. With over 4 years of software engineering experience, our guest is currently the developer advocate at Small Step Labs. She's on a mission to demystify PKIs, public key infrastructure. I'm sure she's going to tell us a little bit about that. And she's the founder of Everything Technical Writing. She is a technical writer. She breaks down complex concepts in the development world and makes it easy to digest for common folk like you and I. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to Linda Ikechukwu.
An applause for myself too, because I deserve it.
Yeah, you do deserve
If
it.
they don't clap for you, clap for yourself.
I love it.
Indeed. Linda, tell us something about yourself that most people, including your bobo, don't know about you.
That's very funny. I don't think there's anything about myself that's like hidden. I behave like a CPU, more like garbage in, garbage out. So it's like what you see is actually what you get. Yeah. Some days I'm goofy, some days I don't want to talk to anybody, and it's like, please hold your pace, you know. I play tennis. I've been playing tennis for like the past 3 years.
Yeah. Is it table tennis or lawn tennis? Okay, great.
Yeah. I recently started learning to play the guitar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Clearly, you wear a lot of hats, right? And I just wonder, maybe to ask you, if you ever feel like this is strange, this is weird, how did I get here? Like, do you feel like it's imposter syndrome is where I'm getting at? Do you feel like this weight on me, this amount of, responsibility that is on me, I am so young, how can I get through this? How do I manage this? Do you ever feel weighed down, if you will?
I mean, yeah, I struggle with overwhelm a lot. I get overwhelmed easily, and yeah, that can be ascribed to the fact that, yeah, I do wear a lot of hats, and I struggle with imposter syndrome, you know, sometimes, because like I'm constantly in rooms where I probably should not be in, where I probably do not see people like me in rooms like that. I have this private newsletter I write for my friends, actually, just to...
Love it.
Yeah. One, it helps me practice getting better at storytelling, which is like a goal of mine. Secondly, it's like a way for me to
Distress.
keep my people like abreast of what's happening in my life.
Correct.
So if I don't call you, you can just go to my newsletter and just find out
Where
what's...
can we find that?
It's private for my friends.
Exactly. Ouch.
Anyway,
Just slammed the door in your face.
on one of the episodes, I was talking about being invited to Poland
Okay.
as a speaker for a security conference. And it was just weird because first, I was the only black person there. Not even the only black female there. I was the only black person there. And, sometimes I just sit down and I think about that moment, like, these people literally flew me out from Lagos to Poland to come and speak to a bunch of middle-aged, advanced, white dudes about like security, and I'm like, yo, wow. Yeah, and
That's cyber
very
security,
important.
yes?
Yeah, in the history of my career, I don't think I have ever felt that level of imposter syndrome to the extent that when it got to my turn to speak, I literally ran away from the hall.
Oh,
I'm not
wow.
even kidding. You know, my friend had to call me and she was like, yo, you did not fly all the way to Poland
To run away.
Because, like, you know, I was thinking of excuses. I'm like, what do I tell these people? I'm just going to mail these people and be like,
No worry.
You're not feeling well.
yeah, I had runny stomach,
Yes. Food poisoning.
food poisoning. I cannot make it. I can't stand up from my bed, you know. Because, like, I came into the hall and I took a peep at, like, the audience I was supposed to be speaking at. And I'm like, yo,
What do I have to say to these people?
what is going on here?
Wow.
You know? I'd never felt that kind of imposter syndrome. So I think it's normal, but you will have your moments of imposter syndrome. It's just remembering that for you to have been considered to be in that room, then you definitely do deserve to be in
Correct.
that room, and you're the shit. You know your shit, so
Correct.
go
Correct.
out like it. Actually,
Correct.
yeah.
And that leads me to ask, right? How do you think your upbringing and your early history, you know, how do you think it shaped where the journey you embarked on and where you are today?
I think I would say the amount of independence I exhibit can be traced back to me being like a first daughter.
Okay.
You know, where you have to like take initiative, you know, lead, do things, and make sure that other people are okay, you know, and just keep the bunch together.
Correct. How many siblings do you have?
I have 4 siblings.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
That's a lot of work.
And you were part mom. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, sometimes I think about faking my deaths.
Oh my word. Okay, I was not expecting that.
It's a lot. It's a
It
lot of
The
work.
responsibility must be a lot.
Yeah.
So you have a dad to deal with, and you also have work
Yeah.
as well. Wow.
And do you think your early upbringing, what are some of the values you think, apart from responsibility, what are some of the values that you think led you towards software development? Because I'm trying to draw the line, you know, between how you got into this field.
I think we should even go back as far as what did you even study in the university?
Oh, okay. So I studied computer engineering.
Okay.
Computer engineering is actually hardware based. It's not software based.
Oh, okay.
How I came about
here in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uniport,
that's-
actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why.
Shout out to Uniport.
Okay.
I stumbled on software engineering as a virtue of like curiosity.
Okay.
And curiosity from the fact that, yeah, if you trace back, I'd always loved writing. I think.
Okay.
This was probably like in my year 2 in uni or something. I was bored. I wanted to do something new, create a blog. And so I used WordPress to like create a blog. And that ease of like, you know, being able to put together a website and just have it display on the internet very easily with WordPress was like a light bulb moment for me. And it got me curious. I'm like, okay, I just don't want to use this. I want to know how it's built. How did
From the
this,
back.
Yeah, how
Yes.
did these people get to do this thing, you know? And luckily for me, I was in very good terms with my HOD. He had established this partnership with NITDA, I guess. So we had like a lab or something where, yeah, you could go and use like computers or something.
yeah.
So I did a lot of research, like what does somebody have to know to be able to build stuff like this, you know? And it led me down to software engineering, you know, and I started learning on my own. There was a period in school where we had like a strike. I think that strike lasted for 6 months or thereabout. So while people were going home, I'm like, nope, this thing, I'm going to figure out how to do it. So I stayed back in school. I signed up for a coding bootcamp that my HOD was organizing. And yeah, I think that was what just launched me into that part of
Yes.
like software engineering. So yeah, for me, that was it. And then I started looking out for people like me who were learning, communities. There was GDG,
Okay.
Women Tech Makers. I would start attending their meetups, you know, and just networking with other people who are in school and learning too. And that was just how that whole thing started for me.
It's interesting for me because I think it's changing now, but there are not a lot of women in the software development space. But I think it's changing now. What are some of the things that you think, we can do as a people, as companies, as a country to encourage more women in the software development space?
I would say representation and shining spotlights on women who are already thriving.
Voila.
Yeah, in software engineering, because the way dreams and goals and aspiration works is that if you cannot imagine something, you can't achieve it per se. So if you cannot see yourself in a particular scenario or in a particular situation, it might be quite difficult for you to attain that level.
What would you say is your highest moment throughout your entire career journey and your lowest moment?
Career that just started. How will I have big point already?
Like, no, that's what I said so far. That's what I said so far.
So far,
It's always going to be a journey. Even after 20 years, it's still a journey.
Highest points of my career probably happened last year. Last year was a lot for me. I did a lot of things. I was in a lot of rooms. I joined an advisory board that had people from Apple, Google in it. It was crazy. I spoke at I've currently been invited as a speaker to over 3 continents.
Wow.
So last year was I kept on hitting goals and topping them, and so last year was probably just a lot of peaks for me, a lot of high points for me, and this year will feature more actually. So
Lovely. Okay.
Lowest points. It's not.
Take your time. Take your time. Breathe.
I don't. Have I had lowest points? I'm not sure, and this is not bragging. Maybe I don't know, but I'm not sure. And maybe it's because I have this can-do attitude. I believe that if I put my mind to something, it's going to work out, whether I like it or not. So that's the mindset I approach everything with. I'm just going to keep trying it, different methods until it works out. I just believe that it's going to work out regardless.
Okay. So you get past those low points real quick, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you don't even stay there long enough to realize.
Or maybe
that
I've just accepted that low point
part of life.
And I don't see them as low point. I just see them as
learning curves.
Yeah. Something that you definitely do have to go through go. Yeah. So
Linda, with your experience and connections and network, I should say, why haven't you considered starting a startup?
Oh my God! It's the laugh for me. Let me just say, I love your reactions with the and the laughs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't I look exhausted enough? I mean, I know I say I don't like pizza, but it's not to that level, please.
but I mean, you would admit that for somewhere like you, that would be a natural fit.
Yeah. And it's not that I wouldn't get there.
Okay.
It probably wouldn't be like a tech product or ownership in start a startup or something. Okay. As a person, I'm very interested in traditional businesses.
Okay.
Yeah, how they are run, brick and mortar businesses, know. So for me, that's something I know I'm going to explore in the next 3 years. Okay. Yeah. But I doubt I would, start a tech startup and all that.
So when you say traditional, I'm curious now. So when you say traditional businesses, right? So you mean something that doesn't have any element of tech in it?
No, not that. Okay. It's tech enabled, but not tech being the main product.
Correct. Okay. So probably digitizing traditional businesses.
Okay. Whether it's a bank or a hospital or whatever.
Lovely.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Okay, so Linda, your current, current endeavor is focused on being an advocate for Small Step, and particularly for the PKI, public key infrastructure.
Yeah.
I've tried to read it up.
It's fine.
I know
It's
a
what
lot.
she does. That's why she's here.
So help us kind of like understand what PKIs are and how it applies to us, everyday folk.
Okay.
That's if it actually does apply to us.
So one thing is that PKI is a very abstract thing, and
Okay.
I will try my best to tone it down and start from the very
As
basics.
the technical writer that you
Yeah.
are.
So PKI stands for Public Key Infrastructure. And public key infrastructure is basically systems set up to manage digital certificates and public keys.
Okay.
Now, let's take it one step at a time.
Okay.
Water break.
Yes, please.
Because
Go ahead.
those two things, I don't understand those two things still.
Because
So-
public keys. It's like,
certificate.
Yeah,
Is it diploma?
I get that a lot. I
Okay.
actually do get that a lot. But so one thing is that this is something that network engineers and like security engineers would usually encounter in their day-to-day
okay.
lives, like job. But for the everyday man, let me try to explain how it applies to
Exactly.
us. So when you visit Twitter,
Okay.
you know, type in x.com, and then it takes you to a URL, https :/www.x.com.
Yes,
That's HTTPS, which stands for, let me not make this very technical, but
Yes.
the deal is that to explain this, I have to get
You have to get
technical.
some technical
Yes,
things.
just go ahead. It's
Okay.
fine.
So HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol,
Okay.
Yes.
and it's the protocol that enables exchange of data or retrieval of data
Okay.
from Twitter's database
Okay.
to your device.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
So now HTTPS, which is what all websites who know what they're doing should be running on, is the secure version
Okay.
of
Yeah, yeah.
Hypertext Transfer Protocol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Secure because plain HTTP is insecure in the sense that when data is being transmitted from Twitter, let's keep on using the
Yes,
Twitter example, from
yes.
Twitter database to your browser,
Yes.
it's unencrypted.
So anyone can have access.
Yeah, so anybody
Okay.
can, intercept
Intercept,
that
yes.
transmission and
Add whatever they want to add
Yeah.
or take what they want to take.
exactly.
Okay.
Maybe install like a malicious script or something. Yeah. But with HTTPS, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secured, now that stream of data is being transmitted over like a secure channel in the sense that it's now encrypted
Yeah.
and can only be decrypted by your browser.
Okay.
And what facilitates this encryption is certificates and public keys.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's how
Okay.
basically your browser or like your device comes with a list of certificate issuers that
Okay.
it trusts.
Okay. Okay.
So it's like on the web, certificates are like passports or like driving licenses or
Okay.
something
Okay.
used to prove identity.
Yes.
Prove identity. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So they prove identity and they
Of the website
facilitate
and of the
encryption
website,
too. Encryption happens by virtue of something called cryptographic keys.
Yeah.
So you have asymmetric keys where you have like a public key and you have a private key.
Okay.
Remember I said, yeah,
Okay.
this is it's
Okay.
very technical.
Yes,
and
yes,
to
yes.
just explain
No,
it,
it's okay.
it has to get really technical.
Okay.
I'm getting.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you're getting it. I hope. Yeah, so you have a private key and a public key. Now, remember I said PKI is all about like systems that manage
Public
certificates and
certificates,
public
yes.
keys.
Yes.
So you have a public key and you have a private key. Now, when data is encrypted with a private key, it can only be decrypted by the corresponding public key. Yeah.
Okay.
So, as the name goes, your public key is supposed to be public, but you keep your private key private. That's how you can be sure that data that is transmitted. For example, say I want to send a message to her, and I would give her my public key. Yeah?
Yes.
And then she would write whatever she wants to write and encrypt it with the
Using your public key.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when it gets sent to me, because she has encrypted it with like my
Public.
Public.
my public key,
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm the only person who can read that message
Okay.
to decrypt it because nobody else has my
Your
private,
Private
key.
key. Okay.
Now, the point where certificates come in is if she stays far away from me and I have to send my public key via a dispatch rider,
Okay.
what are the chances that someone does not switch out those keys before it gets to her? So how can she be sure that this public key is
actually yours?
Yeah, it's actually mine. And that's where certificates come in. Certificates are like stating for each entity, it's like, this is my public key, and this is the authority that signed my public key, that you can go and verify that this is actually my public key. So that's why I said certificates are like passports.
Yeah.
So if I give you my passport, you can verify my identity with the
the government.
Details
Yeah.
on it. Yes. Yes.
Exactly. So now back to website, Twitter,
Yes.
and browser example. So when I type x.com into my browser, now my browser reaches out to Twitter's database or wherever, Twitter server, wherever that info is stored, and it performs something known as a TLS handshake, which is like exchange of certificates. It's like,
Okay.
show me your
Yours.
certificate so I can be sure that I'm actually
Coming to the right place.
connecting to,
Okay.
Twitter's server. And so Twitter sends its certificates, which contains its public key. Now, every device and every browser comes pre-installed with a list of like certificate authorities that they inherently trust. It's just like countries that offer visa-free programs. So you present your passport and they're like, until it gets to Nigeria's turn.
Oh, of course, not
That's
Nigerian
it.
my
passport.
word.
That's what I'm going to say.
Really. Really.
Nigerian
That's
passport
a different
it's not
story.
a public key.
But yeah, so
Wow. No.
So Twitter, sends over that certificate to the browser, your browser, and your browser checks and goes back to its own, table and checks, is this the signer of this certificate? Is in my list of trusted certificate authorities?
Yeah.
And if it checks, then it goes to the certificate authority to verify that certificate was actually signed by that certificate authority. Yeah. Now, that's phase one. That's how identity is established, like you're actually connecting to the right server.
Yes.
Now, phase two is now the encryption part to make sure that whatever data they
Message
want
is
to
transferred. Yes.
exchange now will be over a secure channel. And so there's a yada, yada, yada mathematics that happens there, but they use their public keys and private keys to securely exchange
The data.
something called a session key.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another key.
And so that session key is now the key that is used to encrypt
Okay.
data going back and forth.
Okay.
I really love the fact that, I mean, half of what she's saying, I really don't understand, but I really, really love the fact
She tried.
that we are talking about technical things.
And it doesn't sound too high
And it
up
doesn't,
there.
yes.
Yes.
Maybe more women should be allowed to explain these things.
Exactly.
Because when
I
I
think
hear
they
it
have
from-
a way of explaining
Of
and
making
the
it more,
patience.
yeah.
Because it took her some time.
So it's basically I demystify complexity for a living. So
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for the easiest way
Easiest
to
way
explain
to
something.
Correct.
Yeah. You know, there are sometimes people ask me, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a developer advocate." And they're like, "You're a lawyer?"
Exactly.
Exactly.
Developer lawyer.
Yes, I would have thought that as well. Yes, or I actually did.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, let me explain what developer advocacy
Okay.
is before I
Okay.
get into how I, got into developer advocacy.
Please.
But developer advocacy is, or a developer advocate is basically someone who helps drive adoption and awareness of a tech product or a platform, something using content and community. People cannot use products that they don't understand. People cannot use product that does not speak value to them, that does not solve a problem with them. So your job as a developer advocate is to show people who could be users of your company's product that this product can solve the
Your
problem that they have.
Yeah.
And you help them understand how it does that, by showcasing different scenarios. Yeah.
Interesting.
In a nutshell, yeah. That's
So
what a developer advocate does.
From your explanation, that's like a PR, public relations personnel.
but for developer tools.
For the tech type.
Okay, forgive me. I really do not know the job description of a PR person, but I would say they usually step in to seize fire and just.
Well,
okay,
no.
yeah. So
well,
that's one of
no,
the-
well, not just that,
Okay.
right? Because there is the quelling
There's that.
of the fires, but
Putting out fires and all that.
But there's also the part of just representing the public image of that brand,
Oh,
or
okay.
that person, or
I
that
think
industry.
I think the distinction between the PR person and developer advocate would be like developer advocacy is heavily focused on education.
Oh,
You're a teacher, you're teaching because
Okay.
adopting tech products is really not, I mean, look at what I'm trying to teach people.
Yeah,
It's not it's
Yes,
not something
yes.
you just wake up and decide that, oh yeah. So it's more focused on like education. You're a teacher, you're teaching people that this is actually a problem. In case they haven't noticed that it's a problem, you're teaching. So you're occupying the space of a teacher is more focused on like education as opposed to like just being a representative.
correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You're right.
lovely.
You're right. So how did you become one?
Yes.
Yeah, I will get into that now. So I was a software engineer front end before I became a developer advocate. How did I become a developer advocate? Well, it was like the hot thing in tech,
Oh, really?
you know?
Oh, really?
And yeah, and when it started out, they used to have, so let me be very clear. You know how people come and you ask them, oh, what motivates you? And they're like, passion. I have no passion for working. I go where the money is.
No, I like the authenticity.
Not saying like passion,
You're a
there's money
correct
there
Igbo girl.
and I can do
And that
it.
indeed.
I'm there. And so when dev advocacy, became a thing, it had like very fat paychecks. Companies were allocating a lot of budgets for that.
Yeah.
And I had been a software engineer for a while and I wanted to try new things.
Yeah.
Side note, so I'd been doing things that a developer advocate does before I even thought of,
Okay.
it
Going
occurred to me
there.
that,
Yes.
this is an actual role. Like all this you're doing is like an actual
Yeah.
role that people are getting
Paid for.
paid for. And not
Way
just
more than you
paid.
are.
They are being paid
Yeah, yeah.
insanely good for.
Yeah.
So what I usually do when I'm trying to pick up something, I reached out to a couple of people. I went on LinkedIn. I did like, a search like developer advocate, and you get like profiles of people. And I just messaged them like, hi, my name is Linda. So. This is my story. I'm trying to get into developer advocacy. Would you have some time to share with me what you did to get in, interview questions, things you know now that you wish you knew before you got in, what has been just, questions like some people were very...
These are people you didn't know?
No, just random searches on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I would reach out. I practice pitching a lot. and like just reaching out to people and asking them to share whatever they know with me. And I do that even with the website I run, Everything Technical Writing. I usually just reach out to random people like developer advocates, technical writers. Just come and share your career story with me. What got you where you are? And we have a couple of like interviews up now. So I'm quite good at doing that. So I didn't have a problem with reaching out to random people. I just went on LinkedIn, some will respond, some won't. It's just messages. It's a numbers game.
I think it's important for people to know.
Exactly.
Right? Because what you just said sounds simple, sounds intuitive, but not a lot of people reach out to people who are already in the industry that they aspire to be in.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really interesting strategy for folks listening out there. If you have something that you're passionate about, something that you want to, go into, try to look around, see who else is doing it, and just ask them. People are always willing to help.
Yeah, usually.
Yes.
And there's an Igbo adage that goes something like, a man who asks questions never gets lost. So always be asking questions, please.
Exactly. And don't also be scared of getting aired or something like this. Another person that can answer your question. It doesn't have to be that particular person.
Breakfast is a part of life. Chop it, move on to the next target, okay? Don't
you
dwell
can
on
get
it.
lunch or dinner along the way.
So I want to ask because, yes, we hear about follow your passion. In fact, most of our audience listeners are folks who are currently following their passion right now.
And you may not be paying the bills.
Yes, that's really where I'm going. So what would your advice be? And I know, I don't just say, just leave it.
No.
Exactly, balanced.
What would your advice be? Okay, as authentic as you can be, of course. What would your advice be for folks who are currently pursuing their passion, but they know that there's something else that can really fit them and they may not be passionate about those things? What would your advice be? Because this has led a lot of people to jackpot.
Yeah.
So, I have a framework for making decisions. And it all boils down to just one thing. I tell people that there are no wrong or right decisions. It's just trade-offs. Trade-offs. Like, find or make choices with trade-offs that you can live with. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you're fine, you know that this thing that is your passion and you're happy with doing it, but it's not going to bring you a lot of money, and you're fine living your life without, optimizing for the money, and you can live with that, then make peace with it. It's your life. Really, just make choices that you can live with. That's really it for me. Whatever you're optimizing for, make choices that align with those things. Now, I mentioned not being compelled to do things by passion. It's the paycheck that drives me. And that's because at this point of my life, I'm optimizing for just one thing. I'm optimizing for the financial freedom that will allow me make bets that I wouldn't be ordinarily able to make. So for the first 8 years of my career, or like 10 years of my career, I'm devoting it to just one thing, and that's optimizing for the biggest paycheck. That's just the core factor. That's my what's it called, North Star that guides every single career decision I make. Now, when I exhaust that 10 years, my focus will change.
Correct.
I'll start optimizing for different things. I want to experiment, try new things. Now, this financial background that I have been able to build gives me the ability to easily, just explore
Make
things
choices,
as I
yes,
want.
yes.
So it's just for you to plan your life, know what you're optimizing for, trade-offs that you can live with, and make choices that align with those.
I feel like a lot of people needed to hear that, myself
Wow.
included.
Honestly,
I'm telling you,
I
because
haven't seen
people
from that perspective.
people vilify the idea of pursuing financial freedom, and they make it look like you're just selling out or you're just you're shallow,
Settling.
right?
Yes,
But
yes.
what I heard was far from shallow.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it has a time frame. So
I don't do any aspire to Maguire here. I really tell you how it is.
So one more question before we head into the lightning round. I just want to know, I mean, we've heard about your foray into LinkedIn and just reaching out to people that you may not be aware of, but what mentors, what books, what are some of the things you feel really helped you along this journey of being a developer and now a developer advocate?
Two things. It's I feel like whatever my career has turned out to be can be traced back to, or like just ascribed to me getting to read this book titled They Ask You Answer.
They ask, you answer.
Yeah, by Marcus Sheridan.
Okay.
I stole it from a friend, actually, Sukari.
wow.
And when I was in uni, he used to have this library of books, and I would just go to his apartment sometimes and just pick a couple of books. And, that particular book left like a lasting impression on me. And it just, the center idea of that book was just that, like, creating, writing, and not just being a consumer of information, like putting out information as you consume is one of the lowest hanging fruit career advice you can get. And so it does three things for you, which I've seen time and time again come true for me when I'm, putting myself out there for opportunities. One, it establishes you as a thought leader.
Yes.
It gives you evidence. Burna Boy said, "You go explain it.
No evidence.
But when you start creating and not just being a consumer, you have evidence of your knowledge. Yeah, somebody is like doubting if you can do something, and you can point them to a resource
check it
that
out,
go check it out. You have evidence of what you know. Secondly, it gives you the opportunity to dive deeper into things, because when you write, you gain clarity of thought. As you write, you begin to consider angles that you probably have not considered before. And so you find that it compels you to dive deeper into a particular knowledge, which now in turn gives you more evidence of knowledge,
Correct.
And that singular key advice has shaped my career a lot. That one book, because like whatever I'm learning, whatever stage it is, I am creating about it. I am, as I'm
You're talking
teaching
about
it.
yeah,
Yes.
as I'm consuming content on it, I'm also putting out
Yes.
content on it. That's literally how I got my developer advocacy job, because like I didn't have to do a bunch of like
Interviews.
long interviews. It was like I applied, I put up this like portfolio, a dev advocacy portfolio. I'd never had a dev advocacy job, but I'd been writing, I'd been teaching, I've done a lot of like, I can do this thing. And basically that portfolio was just, look, hire me, I can do this, and I've been doing it. You can go and check this link, go and check that link, go and check that link, go and check that link. And 6 months down the line, my manager would tell me that portfolio you sent was actually why I hired you. Like, there was no reason. I just saw that, and I'm like,
This
I don't
person
have
has
to
put in the
walk
work.
this person
Yes,
through
yes.
a lot of things. Yeah, this just looks like, like I don't have to start from scratch with this person. This person knows what they're doing, So it's like for me, when people ask me how can I level up my career, that's one advice I'm always giving. Don't just be a consumer. Start creating. As you consume information, put out information too. It helps you a lot. It gives you bragging rights.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Awesome.
That's
Lightning round.
yeah, like that just took me into a
Yeah, a special place.
Yes, it's a very introspective place. But yeah. Yes, I have received the word and I will run with it.
God again, and my guy is pissed. Of course, who enjoys losing money because of the simple mistake of missing one character in a wallet address? That is what my guy just experienced trying to send me $1,000. Me, that's painful. All he had to do was get the gaming app, use the in-app airdrop feature, and boom, that's it. Doesn't even need to know what my wallet address looks like. My username was just fine. Don't be the one who wish they had switched sooner. Enjoy the ease of sending money with just the username and a few clicks. Download the gaming app today. Now available on App Store and Play Store.
Okay, so the lightning round is really simple. I ask questions and you answer with one sentence, or depending on how the question is, it may be one word or whatever. Okay. So first question is from your bucket list, because everybody has a bucket list. I'm pretty sure you do. With the type of person you are that wants to take 1 year off, I'm pretty sure you have one. So what's that one thing on your bucket list that you are yet to do?
Maybe skydiving.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not afraid of heights.
I am. That's why it makes it a bucket list activity.
I love it. I love it. So take on your fears.
I'm
one by
usually
one.
doing things that I'm scared of. So I have phobia for height. I have phobia for expansive water bodies.
Okay.
But you always find me doing ridiculous things around those things. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. No fear. Okay, so text or call?
Text, please. Don't call me if we're not dating. Please. What's that?
Even your mom?
Like, if it's not an emergency, please. What's that?
Okay. So if you were on a deserted island, what are the 3 items that you're going to take with you? You have the chance to only take 3 items. What are 3 items you're going to take with you?
I'm going to give you a very dark answer to
Oh,
this.
my word. Okay.
To this question. And it's more like, please, before you take me to a deserted island, just off me. Like,
No.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
No,
I don't cling
It's
to
like-
life that much.
it's like Fear Factor. Now, you know, there was one TV show, Fear Factor.
Yes,
No,
yes,
you won't
yes,
die
yes,
now,
yes.
but it's just a TV.
like, please.
But I guess we're trying to find out.
So you rather not be so yes, it's pretty much what's most important to
Yes,
you.
yes,
That's pretty
As in
much the question.
articles.
It's not really about it. It's just what articles. Okay, so what is that one item
Okay.
that you cannot do without?
One item that I would not do without. Now, I'm going. Should I be rational or just
Yeah.
because I would take water? I need water. No.
Okay.
Okay.
Many people won't answer what
With
which
water,
is
exactly.
curious.
A lot of people say their phones.
A lot of
But
people
yes,
said their phones.
you need to be hydrated. I love that.
Yeah.
Especially with
Clear
the heat
skin,
going.
actually.
Ooh, love it.
Very important.
Melanin popping.
So that even as you're, coming out after spending days in a deserted island, you'll be like when Jesus was coming out from on mountain
Love
with
it.
glowing skin.
Transfiguration. Love it. Now the final lightning round question is, if you were given a billboard, a gigantic billboard,
Really big.
for 24 hours, right? What is that one? What's that line? What's that
One
message?
sentence.
One sentence that you would put on it.
Not made for work, soft life only.
Oh, She has finished work. Like, you can cut. Just cut. Not made for work.
Soft life only.
But see, don't fall for it.
Yeah, yeah.
The way she used to walk,
Yeah.
please, don't fall for it. It's all packaging.
It's like I'm living a life I did not sign up for.
Oh my God, but there's a price to pay for soft life at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah, and you're paying that price.
You are really paying.
Linda, how can we reach you? We have listeners, young professionals, young entrepreneurs who are just starting out in their careers, who are just starting out in their businesses, and they may want advice, mentorship, or just tips. How can we reach you on online social media?
Usually it's Twitter.
Okay.
Okay.
The handle.
My handle is _MS Linda.
MS Linda.
That's where I act like I'm a rational human being.
Oh wow.
On Instagram though,
You're not very rational.
you will not believe what you see there. You won't be able to draw a parallel line between
The
Me?
Twitter you.
and that. So don't bother.
Okay. All right. So if it is serious communication, meet her on X.
Which it should only be. I don't know what else.
We are very
going to look
serious
for there.
people on
We are serious
this
people, yeah.
podcast.
So _MS Linda, please follow her, show her some love, and reach out for tips and counsel if you would need them.
Yes.
Linda, thank you so much for taking out time from your very busy schedule
You're welcome.
to be with us today.
Yes.
We are the better for it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're
Enjoyed
welcome.
this
Thank you.
conversation.